Welcome back to the Empowered Healers podcast with Songbird Grandmother, episode 2. And today we're going to discuss the power of rest. Now, as an empowered healer and someone living in the modern world, the most common dilemma is burnout and time. And the modern role of a woman is to do it all. If you're a mother, if you're a wife, if you're a sister, if you're have a business, if you're a career woman, it's how to balance the modern day needs with your soul needs and the importance of rest. And I know a lot of women feel guilty when they rest. And sometimes all your body is craving is rest. And I know when you're in burnout, you're going to need long periods of rest. When you've hit burnout, that means you're done. You're cooked. You've been in the oven too long. You're starting to burn and you're steaming, you're hot. And the only thing you want to do is get out of that oven. And before you literally toast up and burn out, you got to get out of the oven. And sometimes you wait too long. And when you wait too long, you have way more things that you got to deal with because you didn't take that time. You didn't take the time to rest. When your body, your soul, your spirit said rest, you kept pushing until boom. And that's what a lot of people call the 2x4 movement, the smack you in the head, the universe comes and poof, you're done. And in this time, that's going to happen to a lot of people more than before because the world is moving in a direction and people are panicking and there's a lot of chaos and a lot of needs and a lot more responsibilities than before. And if you're not in that situation, you're most likely supporting others in that situation. And that's the empowered healer. That's the healer who has balanced the time, money, energy aspects, but now you have to support others who may not be in that same balance, or you're going to witness it. And sometimes we can create these balloons, these imaginary walls around us, and tune it out. But ultimately, this energy is going to come to everybody's door because we're in the time where if we don't have a cultural revolution, if we don't make time for our soul and our spirit and restoration and intuition and resting and embracing the softer elements of a more feminine or yin energy, we're going to be a messed up culture. We're going to be a messed up society because it's going to be a worker slave type society where people have no time to think. If you get wrapped up in the modern stuff and all that consumerism and the false lifestyle, which is a very plastic lifestyle, your soul suffers. Your spirit is trapped, and all you think about is money and how to get more money and how to survive. And when you get into that state of mind, the problem with that is it's never ending. I've seen people in that state of mind who even have millions and even billions of dollars, and it's never enough. And they look for spirituality. They look for spirituality to fill this hole, but they don't want to drop their greed. that don't want to drop their selfishness, that don't want to drop all the things that are heavy in their heart because of this huge hole that is a myth. Because it doesn't actually matter how much money you have in your bank account. It matters what you feel inside your heart. Are you content with where you are, what you have, and what you give? Do you give with a generous spirit because you have so much internal wealth it just radiates out? Or are you operating from this lack, this space within you that never seems to be filled, temporarily gets a high from shopping or substances or all the different ways people numb out? But ultimately, it's never fulfilled. It's always wanting more. And this more leads to burnout. It leads to exhaustion. It leads to health crisis. It leads to emotional crisis. It leads to mental crisis. It leads to a variety of issues, or what they call diseases, that manifest as anxiety, depression, insomnia, disconnection from source spirit, and a lack of gratitude, seeing the good, pessimism, negativity, sadness, sorrow, on and on and on and on. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and out, because as an empowered healer, this is your mastery. How to balance my time with rest and doing, how to make the most of the time that I have. That's a big one. Cutting out the unnecessary. A lot of things that you want to do are so possible with the time that you have. It's just all those thoughts that stand in the way. It's like, oh, I want to work on my business. Okay, I have my full-time job and I want to work on my business. But you come home from your full-time job and you do whatever you do, and you didn't carve out enough time. The evening goes by so quick. You were watching TV, you were watching social media, you were chatting on the phone, you were just thinking, maybe just not even doing anything, but just thinking about doing something. And there went your time, where instead of doing all those other things, you could have been working on your business. You could have been making calls. You could have been researching. You could have been working on the website. You could have been doing something to move in the direction that your soul wants. Or better even than all that, you could have rested. You could have meditated. You could have prayed. You could have did a ritual. You could have sat in yourself, with yourself, and mapped out strategic plans to make your work life productive, your business life productive, your private life productive, and working all in sacred harmony so that you have enough time for everything. Because if you're working a full-time job and trying to build a business, it's going to be harder. However, if you're taking daily steps, daily actions, daily things, you're going to see results. And if it's in a very strategic and calculated way, it's the math. And some people get really triggered by that word calculating. And I think they associate that with manipulation or something like that, but it's not. Calculating can be used in the negative or positive. But in a positive form, calculating means that you have calculated. You've calculated the good, the bad, the right, the wrong, and you have strategically come up with what is going to work for me so that if I am in burnout, I can refresh myself and have a way out of burnout. Because if you're in burnout, it means you're burning a flame too fast, too hard somewhere. And most likely it's a day job or a relationship or something that you spend a great deal of your life living in, the only word I can think of is hell. You're living in a hell of some sort somewhere, because burnout doesn't happen when you're living your life in joy and happiness and service and doing what you love to do. It just doesn't happen. If you're working on art, I, it would take a lot to get to a burnout space. And that might, because when you're working on something like art or healing or ritual or ceremony, and you're really in the dynamic flow, it's this energy that just is filling you and it's endless. And you're so inspired, you're so passionate, you're just in the zone. Every artist knows that zone. Every healer knows that zone. It's that place between worlds, and you go into this other dimension. And when you come out of it, that's when you feel tired. That's when you feel, oh, I need to rest. My body can't do this anymore. I have to take a sacred moment and probably have some long periods of rest. And then you go up and you do it again. And that's when you know you're in your dynamic flow. When you're at burnout, it means you are fighting something. You're fighting something that doesn't feel good, possibly insults your soul, and you're looking for a way out. You're looking for rest. You're looking for something to fill that hole. And it can't be a someone. It can't be shopping. It can't be food or drugs or alcohol or all those things. It can only be your soul, your spirit, your being. And it has to be in balance. And as a healer, what you will encounter is how much time you have for self and how much time you have for others and how many demands people will put on you, and having strong and good boundaries. Because people, if you give them an inch, they will take 10 miles. That's human nature. It's across the board, across the cultures, across the world, across every continent. That is what humans do. And that is not their fault. That is not your fault. However, if it's burning you out, you have to have boundaries. Boundaries with spirit, boundaries with people, boundaries with life. Boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are perimeters. Perimeters of how much I am willing to give and how much I am willing to receive. And you can always expand or contract or narrow your boundaries depending on your level of burnout. If you're at total crispy, can't do it no more burnout, you can't give no more. You are gived out. Now you need to receive. If you are totally open and full and you're ready to give, and you're not burned out, you're rested and like inspired, then you're ready to give. But you always have to be ready to receive in sacred balance. Otherwise, you're going to go back to burnout. So today, the message for the empowered healer is rest. Stop making the excuse. Stop feeling guilty. Stop thinking you got 10 million things to do and you can't rest. You are a human being. It's in the word, human being. You're being. There's a part of you that's a being, and that being needs rest. It needs to sit in the silence. It needs to absorb the silence. It needs to rest the bones, the flesh, the arteries, the ligaments, the brain, the heart, the organs. It just needs rest. Let yourself rest. And when you do, you will come back into your life more full, more happy, and hopefully more loving. And if you're truly ready to open your door to your path so that you can get out of that daily grind, that daily hustle, and do what you love as a healer, I invite you to join me in a one-on-one session, and let's connect with the spirit world. Let's get you on that structured path and help you to eliminate the blockages standing in your way. And the only blockages are in your head. They're all in the head. And if you're somebody who's really ready and you're ready to listen and you're ready to do and you're really ready to open your path, the spirit world will bless it. They will bless it. So be sure to go to my website, check out my offerings. This is the time. This is the time. 2025, it's the time. Next year, we won't have this time like this. We will have to be fully in whatever it is that we're doing. But if you take the time this year to do it right, set up your structure, you'll be ready to go. And you'll be balanced. And you'll find that whatever you do won't be so hard because you'll have a structure, a foundation, and a way forward. And that will take some time, money, energy. But once it's flowing, it's flowing. So until we meet again, get your rest, get your nutrition, and I look forward to connecting. Many blessings. Aho.